What's going on, folks? Okay, so in this video, I'm going to give some commentary on one of my athletes' training session. So here's Steph. She's a kickboxer, and she's about to make her MMA debut in about 3 to 4 weeks here. So we have some band-resisted trap bar deadlifts for the first movement. All we're trying to do is just get some lower body power development out of this movement. That's just it. It's supersetted with a dumbbell push-up. And here we have the dumbbells just to save the wrist a little bit more. She has a little bit of wrist irritation going on, so it's a little bit easier on the wrist here. I like the push-ups specifically for pressing for my fighters that I work with, comparatively speaking to something like a barbell bench press, just because it allows the scapula to move a little bit more freely. And especially for her, she has a upper body muscle endurance and strength priority based off an assessment that we recently did. So this is going to be a good gauge as far as the push-ups of improvement, because we can see the reps go up, the max amount of reps that she can do each week. We can see it go up, or the total amount of volume go up. So that's a good training metric. Instead of just being like, okay, let me see how many push-ups you can do max, we can see the total volume go up each week, or we can see pretty much the top set go up each week. It's an easy and good metric, and it's less stressful on the body than being like, okay, let's try and do a 3-rep max or a 5-rep max bench press or something like that. Again, these trap bar deadlifts, they're going to be a little less stressful on the body, comparatively speaking, to something that loads up the spine. So if you think about a back squat or a band resisted back squat, that's going to be a little bit more stressful on the body. Not saying you can't do it, but I prefer to do something that's a little less technical and going to be more beneficial to recovery for my fighters, especially when they're in fight camp. Here we have a Russian step up. This is some single leg muscle endurance work we got going on here, and it's going to be less stressful on the body. Again, that's the theme here, especially in fight camp. Because it's more concentric than eccentric, it's going to be less stressful on the body. And it calls for less recovery, comparatively speaking, to an eccentric movement. Here we got pro and incline dumbbell rows. Once again, we're just trying to build some muscle endurance in the back and balance out all the anterior loading that gets done when it comes to fighting. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that we have to try and enhance what they already do so much of inside of their training. I think of it more of we're trying to build more of a buffer. So we are enhancing at times, but then for me, I think of let's build a buffer. So balancing out a little bit more of what you don't do inside of your skill training or your sport specific training. Now we're going to do a little bit more of that inside of your strength and conditioning work. So that way we get more of a full body balance. Here also, the prone incline is going to be a little less stressful on the back because you're pretty much just resting your torso on the bench, and get you more focused in on really contracting the upper back muscles. Like I said before, we're trying to build more of a buffer here. And then I think of it more of a longevity purposes too. We're not trying to hammer away and just, I'm not beating up my athletes every time they come and do their strength conditioning work. I'm giving them a training stimulus, a good training effect. They get in, they get the work done, they get out, and now they have a good training effect, and then we build some longevity in there. So these bent over Ys is definitely going to be helpful in building some shoulder stability, strength, and then also longevity and health for the shoulder. So that's why we have it on the back end after all the other work that we just did. Here, side planks. Again, this is more of a core focused movement, but if you also think about it, you do got a scapula and shoulder muscle endurance component to it as well. So like I said, the upper body is taxed quite a bit during for fighters. So we want those shoulders to be as healthy as possible. So there's some insight. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions.